It's wonderful to be part of this call tonight. My name is McDermid, and it takes me back 47 years ago when Rory, my husband, came home from a client and who had asked him if he wanted to double his income. It sounded crazy, but we took a look anyway because we were living a life of frustration and not being able to live our dreams. And also, I wanted to start a family and I wanted to be able to work from home. And so we went and had a look. And what we saw that evening totally took us out of our comfort zone. We had doubt, we were skeptical, we had excuses, but fortunately, we had dreams that were strong. We had a desire for change. And nobody really likes change, let's be honest. And we look at it, and let's look at it 47 years later. NeoLife has been going for over 60 years. It has an incredible scientific advisory board, which has been the reason why we are leaders in whole food nutrition in the world. And it's a very, very good business model. It's stood by us and all our distributors over these years, which is absolutely fantastic. And it has a wonderful range of products. We have, as I said, the nutrition. We have incredible non-caustic cleaning products that work like a bomb. And we have organic skincare. So we have things that are used on a daily basis by basically everybody. And I really would like you to meet an incredible distributor. Her name is June Wilson, and she has been part of our business for decades now, and she's incredibly passionate and about NeoLife and the business and the products, and she has a lot to share with us. And you know, NeoLife has provided many, many benefits for June, and I would love June to unmute herself now, and let's hear about all these benefits, or some of these benefits that June has had. So June, it would just be wonderful if you could unmute yourself, and there you are. Wonderful. I'm going to, there we are. June, over to you. There's June. Wonderful.
Thank you, Nola. Thank you very much. Welcome to everyone, and welcome especially a warm welcome to our guests tonight. I don't know what you've heard about NeoLife. Some of you may have heard a lot, some of you not so much. Some of you will have heard how fantastic it is, as Nola's been describing. And you may be feeling a little bit doubtful and skeptical. I understand how you feel because I felt exactly the same way. And I had a neighbor called Loretta, and she kept saying to me, come to a meeting with me and you can hear and understand better. And I said, oh, I haven't got time. And she said, oh, please come with me just to keep me company. So I went with her to a meeting and I was totally blown away. There were about 600 people there in Durban. And I said, what is this? Is this a rally? She said, no, it's a meeting. And there was so much excitement. Everybody was helping everyone else and to understand how their products had worked for them. There was nothing but happiness in the air and energy. And I said to Loretta, is this for real? And she said, yes. She said, you should be part of it. I said, how? And she said, fill in a form. And she said, if you fill in the form and pay your membership fee, you are a distributor with your own company. Well, this sounded totally amazing, but I did need some cash, extra cash. And so I said, well, I'll give it a bash and see what happens. So that's what happened. And I started attending training, excellent training given by my leaders. I was so grateful to them for the explanations they gave that I knew nothing about nutrition or diet or anything. So I had so much to learn. And then there was a course on how to make sales. I had told family and friends that I was a distributor, and they laughed and they said, "You, a salesperson? Never." And Loretta was beside me and she said, "Just enjoy the product and I'll be with you. I will help you all the way." And she was wonderful. She certainly did. And that's what happened. I became a distributor, learning step by step all sorts of things. I went on this course for sales training, and it was a 2-day session. And I thought, well, in for a penny, in for a pound. And in the morning, the very first person who arrived was full of cold. She had a very, very bad cold. She was feverish and not well at all. But she said, "I brought my blanket and my pillow, and I can't bear not to hear this training." So that's what happened. And for 2 days, we were locked up in this room, in close contact with her. And I was just thinking 3-4 days from now, we'll all be with our blankets and pillows. As it turned out, not one person of our 20 distributors picked up this cold. Well, this blew me away. I mean, how could that possibly be that nobody picked it up? The only person to be affected by the cold was the man training us, who was not a NeoLife distributor or customer. So I said to Loretta, "What has done this? How is this possible?" She said, "Just taking the products that you've been taking is what has done it." And this is what I was taking, carotenoid complex. Can you see that? This is full of capsules. This represents 115 kilos of fruits and vegetables, all the brightest of colors. They'd extract the pigment out and process it and put it into capsule form. Absolutely wonderful. Then I took a shake, a protein shake, which is a meal replacement. That too is astonishing because it represents 1/3 of your daily requirements, RDA requirements of protein. The chocolate flavor, of course, because I adore chocolate. And then there was a vitamin and minerals supplement with a wide spread of all the elements that they contain. Now, I had no idea in the beginning how valuable these were going to be for me. I just saw them as a means to earn some money. But you know, strange things happen. In life, you can't plan it, you can't organize your life differently. Suddenly, we had a disaster in the family. I was living in Durban, my mother was living in Port Elizabeth, and she was knocked down a flight of stairs, and the man who knocked her down fell on top of her, and she broke her pelvis. That meant she couldn't walk. It was a disaster, and she suffered terribly, trauma and in all sorts of ways. I couldn't help her from Durban easily, so I moved to Port Elizabeth, and for 22 years I nursed her. I knew nothing about nursing. I didn't know about nutrition for older people. She was 82. So I thought, well, I'll just try. And so we muddled along. And what would I have done without these same products that I've mentioned to you and many more? I extracted the oil out of the capsules and gave the oil to her in teaspoons. I crushed up the tablets because she couldn't swallow them. And so we went from year to year to year to year, and slowly and surely we noticed an improvement in her. And she never really walked efficiently again, but she was able to move about. She attended training sessions with us. And on her 100th birthday, we had a celebration for her. And she broke out in song and sang, "Happy days are here again." I mean, what more value can you get from a product It's absolutely amazing what we achieved in that time. So many people have been impressed. They've all said, what did you give her? What did you do? How did you do it? So I've been able to help through my NeoLife business. I've been able to help many people in different ways. I can only recommend it most highly to absolutely everyone. How can any family not have the availability of these products when they need them, as they need them, in the fashion, in a style which will suit the person who's taking them? The business opportunity has been a godsend because I've had to rely on it for my own income. And I've had the most amazing help from my upline, my leaders, Pat and Barry Bland, Nola, you and Rory, and my lovely team. All of you, so special. It's my family. And I can only offer this to new people and say, I don't think you can ever go wrong by becoming associated with the company, develop your own business and help as many people as you can. It's so worthwhile. God bless. Thank you.
That is so great. What a lovely story. And let me tell you, that flexibility this business gave June. She has a son in Canada who's able to access the products because it's an international business. And it's just wonderful to see her continuing to help people and living out the NeoLife philosophies and that. Jude, thank you for sharing that story with us. Okay, so wonderful. And now we're going to hear from Rory, who 47 years ago was asked if he wanted to double his income. And so that's all exciting. And so Rory, why don't you come and join us? Thanks very much.
Thank you, Madame. Thank you, my dear wife, Noel, and June, thank you. That story was so interesting, and thank you for putting it together so beautifully for us. And you know, it just shows you don't know what the road or journey of life will hold for you. And suddenly you had a complete change in direction. And your NeoLife, you know, I look at the stats and the figures, and your NeoLife has been so good for you financially. And the beautiful thing about it is you've been able to look after your mom with such dedication and have the flexibility of still making income on a very part-time basis, and you've done it well. Congratulations, we're so proud of you. So thank you, June, for joining us tonight. It really was good. So anyway, thanks, June. So as Nola mentioned, I met a guy. Let me give you a bit of my background. I went through the normal process of going into getting a good, secure job, and I started working in a color film processing laboratory. I started in those early days. Color film processing was just starting. I studied color film processing in Germany and opened a laboratory here in South Africa. And it was during that time I started to learn exactly what I didn't want to have in life, because working for a boss, having the pressure and the stress that goes with it, I just thought this is not for me. So I started my own little part-time business. Over a period of time, that became quite successful. And during that course of time, I met my sponsor, Horace Painter, who I thank today. The person who linked you to this talk tonight will play a major role in your destiny and your future. So I thank Horace right to this day, because his simple little invitation changed my entire direction, my family's entire direction, and everything we possess today has come from this opportunity. So we know it works. Now, let's say, what was the pivot for me? The night I went down to see a business meeting, I had my own business. I had, 40, 50 people employed at the time. I was stressed out of my mind trying to make a living. And what happened was the guy who did the talk that evening put a very simple little diagram on the board, and I'm going to illustrate it for you. He simply said, at 65, now I was 27 years old at the time, so that seemed like a lifetime away, but it goes so quickly. He said, the survey tells us at 65 years old, there are two groups of people. There's a group of people who've gone through life and prospered, and there's a group of people who've spent 45 years of their life or whatever it is hardworking, and they end up in poverty. So what's the difference between these two people? Well, it's very simple. These people work hard all their lives, and these people have learned the art, and I call it the art of working smart. What do I mean by working smart? Well, working smart is to find a way that you can duplicate time. Time management is the best kept secret of the rich. That's what makes the difference. Are you duplicating time in what you're doing? So I'll ask you a simple question. What you're doing at the moment, where will you be at 65 years old or somewhere in the future? The scary part of it is 95 to 98% of people end up on that side of the equation, and only 2 to 5% on this side. So 95% of people will fail at the age of 65. That scared me. That scared me tremendously. And I simply said to myself, doing what I was doing now, I was headed in that direction. So what can make things change? What could change? We were ambitious. We were looking for opportunity to change. The key is to multiply time. You see, time management is the best kept secret of the rich. I've mentioned that, and I mentioned it again to you because that's the key. That's the pivot. You work hard or you work smart. For instance, let's take a doctor. He's brilliant. He studied for 7 years. He is selling his time patient by patient or operation by operation. So he has a ceiling to his income potential because he has only so much time available. One of the most wealthy or successful people in the world had a philosophy that he would rather earn 1% on the efforts of 100 people than 100% on himself. And that's the duplication of time. That was the pivotal point of that evening. I said, I've got to start doing this. So what happens? The key is to start your own business. And I'm going to suggest you do that tonight. Now, starting your own business can be a scary thing because most people don't have the expertise, they don't have the capital for the risk, and they haven't got the qualifications. I'm suggesting that you start a business tonight by linking to a company called NeoLife. Nola mentioned NeoLife has a presence around the world. We operate in over 50 countries. So you're starting a business tonight that can give you global income, not only in your own backyard. So think about that. The other thing is NeoLife has been going for 63 years. And that means they've stood the test of time. I see so many companies, particularly today, come in and make great promises. And within a very short space of time, they are not around to keep the promises they've made. And people are hurt and devastated in the process. NeoLife has been keeping its promise for 63 years and will continue to do so. So you start a business for as little as 1,000 Rand. Now, I'm not going to write too much. 1,000 Rand is the price of a reasonable pair of shoes today. Okay. So for the price of a pair of shoes or a tank of petrol is another way of looking at it. You invest in a business that can change your family's destiny. That's what happened to us. When you invest in this business for 1,000 Rand, you'll be allocated an ID number or a buying number, which is put into the company computer system. The company provides this business platform on a global basis where they produce products which are exceptional. They have scientists, they have infrastructure, they have computers, they have all of these things there for you. And you just pay 1,000 Rand to get an ID number to do it. Now, how does the business work? It's very simple. In the company range or catalog, you'll get this in your kit. There are about 100 products. And what fascinated me about this lot, for instance, one of the products is, one of the product ranges is what we call home care. It starts off with a laundry powder. Now, can I ask you a question? Do you use a laundry powder in your home? Of course you do. Every single household uses a laundry powder. So that's what I would call a necessity item. It's used in every household. And the beautiful thing about our laundry powder, it is green, biodegradable. Okay, so it is good for the land. It's green. And we've done some costings on it. It would cost you about 40% less than the current powder that you're using. So you get a better quality product for 40% discount on what you're using. So that's just a starting point. So in other words, every house in this country is a potential outlet for your product. It's a need, necessity, consumable item. You know, we're not selling chairs and tables that last for your lifetime. We're selling a laundry powder that's going to last you a couple of months, and then you have to repeat it. I have got laundry powder customers that started with us over 47 years ago, still using our product. Now that's what I call making sense. So you need to get a need necessity item. And the first thing we're going to ask you to do is use the product yourself. Why do we ask you to use the product? We want you to change your buying habits. And this is critical, my dear friends. It's critical. With the 100-odd products, you are using, for instance, skincare. We have a great skincare range. Hair shampoos, conditioners, bath oils, home detergents, laundry powders, dishwashing liquids. This entire range, you are buying similar products retail at the moment. So I'm going to ask you to change your buying habits. You simply go, get your ID number, go online on your computer, place your order. The company delivers it to your front door within 2 days. So it is a very efficient system. So we ask you to change your buying habits, but we want you to use the product for one reason, to build your belief in what we're doing. I can sing the praises of these products all night, but until you've used them, you won't believe it. So convince yourself before you can convince someone else. Convince yourself before you convince others. And that only comes through personal use. The average family has an economy of approximately, I'm going to talk in dollars for a moment, US dollars of about $100 worth of our type of commodity every month. That's the average family. So you change your buying habits and do 100 points. The second thing we want you to do is to recommend the products. If you use something which works, it's a natural human instinct to share, to recommend. You go to a decent movie, you recommend it. You go to a decent restaurant, you recommend it. It's natural to do this. Okay, so what we suggest is you recommend the product, and what will happen, you'll build a little customer base of approximately $250 per month, and that's what we want you to do. Okay, so how long is this going to take you? This is part-time, and we want you to invest 10 hours per week. 10 hours per week is what you've got to put aside. And let's face it, if your priorities are right, you'll find the time. You know, these people who achieve nothing in life, they never have time. They're so busy wheel spinning, they get nowhere. Find 10 hours. It's not a spare time business, it's a part-time business. Plan 10 hours per week. And what do? You use the products, you recommend the products, you build a little customer base of 250 points that will give you a little cash back at the end of the month of about 1,000 to 1,500 Rand per month. That's the starting point. So you're using better quality product, and the company gives you cash back at the end of the month through the program. Now, what happened in our case, as we continue to recommend, blow me down, to our surprise, along the way came some people. We joined 3 people, like-minded people who are sick and tired of battling, sick and tired of mediocrity, and they also linked to the company. They were given an ID number, and their ID number was linked to our ID number. So they were part of our network, and we taught them to do exactly what we did, use the products, recommend the products, and they built little businesses of 250 points as well. And suddenly we had 1,000 points. Now we start to earn 2,500 Rands worth of cash back at the end of the month. That in itself, if you get to that level alone, it's exciting. But what happens in the fullness of time, you keep using, you keep recommending, you keep linking. And what happened in our instance, these 3 people started doing the same thing. And by the way, I want to just interject here. When I say these 3 people, to find 3 people, you might have to speak to 10 people. Okay, let's be real about it. It's not going to just, not everyone's going to fall down and say, I want to join you. That's the way it is. It's a game of numbers that you've got to be prepared to play. So suddenly these people had 1,000 business like we did. So 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 plus 1,000, 4,000 points made us what we call a fully qualified director. A fully qualified director has a cash back each month of about 8 to 10 to 12 In fact, I have some fully qualified directors who earn 15, 16,000 Rand a month being fully qualified. Obviously, it depends on their volume and their structure. But now we're beginning to, that's 100, 120,000 plus per annum coming into the household. And what have you done? You've changed your buying habits and you've allocated 10 hours per week. And in this day and age, it's amazing how our business is suited to this COVID type situation. It's tailor-made for this time of life. I'm just going to give you this because there's some people I know sitting there saying, oh, what, an extra 10, 15,000, that's chicken feed. In some people's minds, it is. What happened to us and what has happened to others? Blow me down. This guy went out and became what we call a director doing 4,000. This guy went out and did the same. This guy went out and did the same. Now we were doing a business of 30, 40,000 points per month. Our income was 30 to 40,000 to 50,000 Rand per month. And we started getting serious. It's at about this point, we flogged our full-time business and we got straight on full-time in this business. And, in the fullness of time, you keep, it's simple. It's KISS, keep it simple and straight. It's the simple things in life that work, not the complicated things. Use the products, recommend the products, link people to your business, and they do the same thing. And the power of this network over time will build and build and build. What happens if you had 6 directors? You'd be earning 100,000 Rand per month. How much do you want to earn? You are the managing director of your own business, and your dedication and focus will determine the outcome. And I can say, I'm going to boldly say that I believe that, in this time of change and upheaval and everyone is so unsure of the future, I predict that 2021 is going to be a record year for NeoLife. Why do I say that? Well, things that we're breaking, we just had a record December. We just had a record January, and things are moving. Why are they moving? Why are we going to have this record time? Because in this time and this era, we are solving problems. What are the problems that people have today? The first problem is health. They're particularly scared about their vulnerability to the COVID viruses. So you've got to boost your immunity, because if your immunity is boosted, your body will defend itself. So you need to boost your immunity. That's a problem people face. The second problem people are facing today is loss of income. How many people do you know who are devastated financially at the moment? The job, the good, secure job they thought they had, has just gone into thin air. So there are so many people looking for chance and opportunity at this stage. We have the solution to those problems. I don't know of a company that is as well placed and well suited as NeoLife to take you from where you are today to where you want to be in the future. So my strong recommendation to you is have the courage to try. I don't care about your age. I don't care about your education. I don't care about your background. That's got nothing to do with it. Have you got the courage to try? So what I'm going to ask you to do is get back to the person who introduced you tonight, who we will call in the future your sponsor. Thank him for doing it. For a start, I thank mine still. Even though he's not here anymore, I still thank him for sharing this opportunity with us. Get back to them, go online. They'll give you a website, because when you become part of the business, you automatically get your own personalized website. You'll go to his website and you'll sign on as either customer or distributor. I hope you have the courage to try something new. Step out of your comfort zone and give it a go. You've got nothing to lose by trying. So I thank you so much for your time. I thank June for giving us so much tonight and making such a great contribution. Thank you, June. We appreciate that so much. And I just know that today is the first day of the rest of your life. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to go? What is your destiny? You determine that. Thank you. Good night. God bless. Thank you.